Hello friends, today I'm very excited to be bringing you this special story for members only, which is kind of funny because I don't have any members at the moment, but I've just watched a YouTube video by Marcus Brownlee about why people are quitting YouTube, and I thought I'd better have a little chat with my creative side and remind myself why I started making stuff for YouTube in the first place, and then just get on and do this video that no one will be able to watch unless, of course, they become a member. This is a special story because, as you can see, it hasn't got a title page and I haven't mentioned the writers, and the reason for this is because I've been unable to record them. As viewers to my fledgling channel may have guessed, I'm not very tech savvy, and it's taking me a long time to learn how to make videos, to edit them, and all the rest of the things that you need to do. I learn how to do something and then overnight my computer updates itself and I have to relearn or remember how to do something all over again. And it's hard when your brain's over 50 to learn new stuff all the time, just to keep doing what you already learnt how to do the day before. So anyway, I've been filming and reading and adapting kids' stories for YouTube for over a year now. I go around the charity shops and randomly pick books that I like the look of, or which may have something interesting to say. Then I read them for YouTube. Then sometimes I get really excited about the characters in the books, and I let them loose a little, and they end up making stories of their own on this channel, with each other. At the moment, the Gruffalo and Peppa Pig are having lots of adventures together. Soon Thomas the Tank Engine and Noddy will too. It's just that I haven't yet managed to pin them down yet. Anyway, I found this book that I'm going to read now, and I recorded it to my phone first and then went to send it to my laptop for editing, like I usually do, into something you could watch. But my laptop ignored it. I could transfer films that were on my phone from before I read the story and stuff from after, but this story would not get off my phone and go onto my laptop for editing. So the next day, I re-recorded all the footage again, thinking it might be a problem with maybe the sound or something, and the same thing happened again, which was kind of spooky. So now I'm frustrated and angry, just like the character in the book, and so I channel the mindset of the other character in the book. Instead of treating this as a direct attack on me, I treat it as a problem that must be solved. I don't know anything about how my phone or laptop work really. I just want them to do what I want them to do. So all that would upload to my laptop are the pictures from the book, not the title page or any of the voiceovers I made. So this film is just the pictures from the book and then my voiceover over the pictures to the speaker on my laptop, and we're going to see if I can get this story made. Just to be sure I can do this all in one take, as I have friends to meet and I've already spent days trying to make this film with no success, I'm going to change the names of the principal characters, and at the end I'm going to spell the original writers and creators backwards in the credits so that you know where this book was made and it's not my own story, just one I have adapted for YouTube. Okay, wish me luck, and here we go. This story is called The Very Angry Day That Megan Didn't Have. Catherine got out of bed, tripped over her slippers and bumped her knee on the drawer that she had left open the night before. She screamed, "Who left my slippers on the floor? Who left my drawer open?" But of course it was Catherine herself who had caused her accident. Megan, a girl in Catherine's class, had nearly the exact same thing happen to her that morning. She tripped over the school books that were piled next to the side of her bed and bumped her knee too. She thought, "I should have put those books away before I went to bed," and she rubbed her sore knee. Catherine didn't feel any better at breakfast. She wanted Cocoa Poppers cereal, but her mother hadn't replaced the box that was emptied the day before. Catherine glared at her mother and said rudely, "Why can't you keep my favourite cereal in the house?" Megan asked her mother for her favourite cereal too, but her mother said, "I decided not to buy Sugar Krispies anymore. It's got too much sugar in it. I bought you oat flakes instead." Sounds delightful. "And I'll put strawberries on it to make it sweet, okay?" "Sure, I'll try it," Megan said. And she liked it too. That's fortunate, isn't it? Catherine got on the school bus and sat next to Megan. She looked at Megan and said, "You always get to sit next to the window because you get on the bus first. I want to sit next to the window today." Catherine squinted her eyes a little, as if to say, "And I'm not going to take no for an answer." Megan thought, that's not really true. Catherine sits next to the window most of the time. But since it seemed like Catherine was in a bad mood anyway, she gave Catherine her seat. Megan thought, maybe Catherine is having a particularly bad day. Almost as soon as Catherine sat down at her desk, her teacher, Mrs. Mitchell, collected everyone's homework. But Catherine hadn't done her homework. When Mrs. Mitchell came over to her desk, Catherine just frowned. "I lost my homework on the way to school," she said. But it wasn't the truth. Catherine acted like Mrs. Mitchell had done something wrong, and Mrs. Mitchell frowned back at Catherine. Megan was watching this when a terrible thought crossed her mind. She didn't have her homework either. She'd left it on the kitchen table. Megan thought, I'd better just tell Mrs. Mitchell the truth. And so she did. She said, "My father is leaving for work late today. Can I call him and ask him to bring my homework to school?" Mrs. Mitchell smiled and said, "OK, but it's your responsibility to get your homework to school, not your father's." Megan felt embarrassed, but she also felt that Mrs. Mitchell wasn't mad at her. On the playground, Catherine, Billy, Alphonse and Tony were playing tag. Billy was running so fast as he chased Catherine that when she turned to get away, he ran right into her and knocked her over. When Catherine got up, she had fire in her eyes. She socked Billy in the stomach and he fell to the ground and started to cry. Socked gives away the fact that this book was written in America. Catherine stood in front of Billy with her fists still clenched and a mixture of fury and fear on her face. I'm thinking fear because I'm thinking that Catherine knows that she shouldn't have done that, so she's maybe worried about getting into trouble. "Get up, you crybaby," Catherine muttered. Megan ran over to the fight. Billy was her best friend, and Megan thought, "I'll show you who can hit hard, Catherine." Megan wasn't afraid of Catherine. Megan had 3 older brothers who she wrestled with all the time, and she wasn't afraid of anybody. But as she walked over to Catherine, she remembered something that her oldest brother, Tommy, had told her, that fighting never helps. Instead of taking a swing at Catherine, she bent over and helped Billy up and walked away with him with her arm around him. Megan could feel Catherine looking at her as she walked away, but she didn't turn around. For the rest of the day, Megan kept an eye on Catherine, and what she saw made her very sad. Catherine teased a little girl in the hallway. Catherine glared at Mrs. Mitchell when her back was turned and stuck out her tongue and crossed her eyes to make fun of her. Catherine spit in the drinking fountain because she knew it would upset Tanya, who was in line behind her. Catherine drew nasty pictures when she was supposed to be practicing her writing. On the bus ride home, Megan could hardly believe it when Catherine sat next to her again. She waited for Catherine to say she wanted to sit next to the window, and she didn't have to wait long. "I want to sit by the window," Catherine said, stiffening her body and looking straight into Megan's eyes. "Too bad for you then," said Megan, and she looked straight back at Catherine. The girls just glared at each other as the bus pulled off. It was a staring contest, and neither would look away. For blocks and blocks they just stared at each other. The other children squirmed in their seats and laughed and poked fun at each other. But Catherine and Megan just kept on staring at each other, eye to eye. Then Megan spoke. "I don't like the way you act, Catherine Windsor. You're mean and angry all the time. If you keep this up, you won't have anyone in the world who likes you, and you will be mean and angry and alone when you grow up." Then it was time for Megan to get off the bus, and she quickly stepped past Catherine to get out. Catherine didn't say a word to Megan or even look at her as she left. Catherine was frozen with being mad and feeling sorry for herself. She had had a very, very bad day, a very angry day. She just wanted to get home and watch some TV. Megan felt very good and light as a feather, but as she ran into her house calling to see if her brother Tommy was home yet, she tripped over a skate that she'd left in the hallway and went down with a crash onto the floor. Megan got up, rubbing her knee. Silently, she picked up the skate and found the other one in a corner nearby. She put them both in the closet. And closet is American for wardrobe or cupboard. Then, with a smile, she dashed up the stairs, yelling, "Tommy, I'm home!" And there you have it. I have read the story of the very angry day that Megan didn't have. And we shall see if I can now edit it for my No Members channel on YouTube. Thank you very much for listening. Please do like and subscribe, or even become a member of the channel. I would really appreciate it. And bye for now.